Hi there. So England are heading to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and it's job done by our German-born manager, Thomas Tuchel. But how will England fare next summer, and who will be on the plane to North America come next June? Hello, I'm John Gubba, and this is VISIONSPORT TV. For those of you who normally follow me on Man United The Religion, this is my original sports channel, and where you'll find a lot of my archive footage. So please have a look around. VISIONSPORT is the production company I set up 35 years ago, and as we count down to next summer's World Cup, I'm going to be on here a lot more in the coming months. So back to England and my thoughts on Thomas Tuchel's bid to end 60 years of hurt. You can bet by the time our squad departs, our fans and our media will be hyping up England's chances like we always do. And that is usually part of our downfall. Too much expectation. I'm not saying England are going to win the World Cup, far from it. But I do feel that things are different this time around, and in a good way. Tuchel is building unity around a team that's not putting all the spotlight on big names. He's focused on creating an identity, working hard to establish a definite style of play and blending emerging talent with more experienced faces. What's interesting right now is how perceptions of Thomas Tuchel's England have changed in a very short time. And for good reason. Qualification for the World Cup with 2 games to spare, maximum points with 6 wins out of 6, and not a single goal conceded. Remarkably, Jordan Pickford hasn't conceded a goal in 9 England matches, breaking Gordon Banks' previous record of 7 clean sheets. Pickford, of course, is one of the definites in Tuchel's squad. What's most impressive is that we've scored 13 goals in our last 3 matches. Outstanding, and I'll talk about Harry Kane a little later. But we're not world beaters just yet, and please spare me that tired old cliche that football's coming home. When our rivals hear that terrible tune, I'm sure it makes them bristle at the arrogance of the English. For me, there's nothing more embarrassing than that annoying song. It's time for a new tune. And on the pitch, it does feel like Tuchel is already getting a new tune out of our players, and he's doing it his way, without automatic inclusion for the biggest names. There's genuine competition for places. Every place has to be earned, says Thomas Tuchel. The mere fact qualification was secured in the absence of Bellingham, Grealish, Foden and Palmer suggests some big names may well miss out. It's going to be an interesting season for all the players vying for a place in the final 26. Meantime, I do think Thomas Tuchel is winning over the critics who said we can't win with a German managing England. Now, in Latvia, we saw his good humour when the travelling England fans responded to his previous criticism with a series of chants. Tuchel took it all in good taste, and I do think most England fans are now fully behind the manager. Certain voices will always criticise the England manager, of course. That's nothing new. I do believe the noise around England often becomes a handicap. So when I hear Tuchel talk about England being underdogs to win next year's tournament, I think that's the right approach, especially with expectations so high after England's impressive record under Gareth Southgate, beaten finalists in the past 2 European Championships, along with a record of a semi-final and a quarter-final in the past 2 World Cups. Anything short of winning the World Cup now makes Tuchel a failure in many people's eyes, and that's a lot of weight to be carrying around. Ranked 4th in the world, there will be the temptation in some quarters to think we are world beaters, but we're far from that at this point in time. Realistically, we are underdogs, as Tuchel so wisely puts it. I am encouraged by the way he's made this England squad his own. Yes, this wasn't a strong qualifying group, but Tuchel has done it without relying on those big-name players. It'll be interesting to see how the squad dynamic changes when Jude Bellingham and Cole Palmer return for the next England camp in November, as they surely will do, barring injury, of course. Jack Grealish, I'm not so confident about. I am a Jack Grealish fan, but Anthony Gordon is now clearly in pole position wide on the left, with Marcus Rashford also favoured because he can also play as a central striker. As a United fan, it's been interesting to see Tuchel give Rashford a chance to earn his place. And based on the fact he also provides cover for Harry Kane, I think any level of consistency for Barcelona this season will earn Rashford his place in the squad. Just like I fear Grealish could consequently miss out, I'm also not convinced there's a place for Phil Foden in Tuchel's lineup. He's the player I think most likely to miss out as things stand, because we have better options in the number 10 role, and that's Foden's best position. While on the right, Saka is our standout player, and Noni Madueke has also looked brilliant in that position playing for England. With Jared Bowen a strong option who can also play through the middle. To force his way in as number 10, Foden is up against Rodgers and Eze, who have both performed well in the absence of Bellingham and Cole. Foden could easily be one of the players who don't make the final 26. And that's what makes the Premier League season so interesting, with players needing to produce their best for their clubs to stay in contention. For me, Declan Rice is one of England's undroppables. He's improved in stature since moving to Arsenal, becoming a more complete player who brings leadership, security and a box-to-box attacking threat for England. He reminds me so much of Brian Robson. Declan Rice is one of my favourite England players, while Elliot Anderson has emerged as a strong contender to partner Rice. And we're not short of defensive options across the whole back line. Tuchel was able to rest Mark Guéhi against Latvia, and for me, Guéhi is one of our best players, not just an outstanding centre-back. What's clear is that Tuchel has good options, and we won't go into the World Cup with a shortage of players who've not worn the shirt. He's building a solid team group with an exciting blend of young, emerging stars. And I, for one, fully support our adopted German. But I won't be making any predictions about England winning the tournament. My expectations remain quite low, despite the fact the Premier League is the biggest league in the world and our elite clubs are ranked alongside the very best. Chelsea are the reigning club world champions, no less, as the world witnessed when we had the ridiculous sight of watching Donald Trump gatecrash their trophy lift celebration. Nothing against Trump. He's a showman who lives for the spotlight, but it's hard to imagine Trump cavorting around the MetLife Stadium with Tuchel, Harry Kane and co come July next year. But I won't say it's impossible, because football is a funny old game, as a wise man once said. Personally, I find it hard to see past the likes of regular favourites, Spain, France, Brazil and Argentina. But this time I do hope we'll see a strong challenge from one of the African nations. 9 African nations at least will be there this time. And what a great sight it was to see Cape Verde become the second smallest country ever to qualify for a World Cup. Watching the whole country celebrate their qualification reminds us what an amazing tournament the World Cup is to be part of, and how it brings out our national pride. While I do love any excuse to fly the flag of St George, I don't think we should reserve that right purely for a football tournament. On the contrary, I'd much rather we fly our flag all year round. But that, of course, is quite a different story to who's going to win the World Cup. So what chance do England have? And are we deluding ourselves? Do you even think we'll have another chance after Southgate's boys blew it in the 2018 semi-final against Croatia and then came up short against France in the quarter-finals in 2022? I think it's madness how the public expect England to win a World Cup when we have a Premier League saturated with so many overseas players. The pool of English players in the Premier League has never been smaller. On the other hand, English players who do win their place in the Premier League have got there on merit, and the high level of football in English League stands them in good stead when they wear the international shirt. There's no longer such a big step up between club and country. But how many in the England squad are truly world class? Maybe Saka, maybe Bellingham. I think both are top draw, but for me the only genuine world-class player in our squad right now is Harry Kane, even at 32. Like Cristiano Ronaldo, Kane is a player who has continued to improve in his latter years. And especially in the heat of North America, where a football brain beats the high tempo of the Premier League, a player like Kane is going to be a priceless asset, and Tuchel knows that. It's going to be interesting to see which players make the final 26 when Tuchel eventually names his World Cup squad. But in my mind, there's only one player who's currently irreplaceable, and that's our captain and goal-scoring talisman, Harry Kane. 3 years into his 4th decade, Kane is arguably in the form of his life. His 2 goals in Tuesday night's qualification clinching 5-0 win in Latvia takes his England tally to 76 goals in 110 games. But it's his record for club and country already this season that tells its own story, with 11 goals already in the Bundesliga. He's Europe's top goal scorer in a major league. At Bayern Munich, his goal-scoring record ranks alongside any of the world's elite players, with 103 goals in 106 games. Quite remarkable. Despite all his records, I still don't think Harry Kane gets the recognition he truly deserves. He's not a natural self-publicist like Cristiano Ronaldo, and maybe That's why his goal-scoring achievements are often taken for granted. Golden Boot winner at the 2018 World Cup with 6 goals in 6 games. His missed penalty in our quarter-final defeat by France 3 years ago overshadowed his contribution in Qatar. And by his own high standards, he looked jaded en route to the finals of the Euros last year. But put Kane in a confident England team that creates chances, and Kane will guarantee you goals aplenty. That's a certainty. Well, I'm fairly confident Ronaldo will take part in the World Cup at the age of 41, assuming Portugal do qualify. I've no doubt Harry Kane will very much be a force to be reckoned with. 9 years his junior. And who knows, maybe Tuchel will end 60 years of hurt.